because we're going to be creating campaigns and all those things, so we don't want to use a
anybody.
live site.
Real quick, before we get started, I promised I was going to get some answers for someone. I thought this would be a good phone call for that.
Okay.
And these are going to be very specific questions. First one's actually going to be kind of for both Mike Clausen and for Dr. Leibovitz.
Okay.
And they're kind of looking for ways to get better, get a little bit more reviews for Google specifically. And one of the kind of questions that came up while we were kind of reviewing their options was for contacts, if we were to put them on a very specific campaign just for like Google reviews or something like that, one of their questions is can they track if somebody like clicked a link within an email or went to, opened a very specific email? So John Smith in their contact list, they can see exactly what John Smith has done, not just as a group, but specifically him.
In DSS?
Yes.
Unfortunately not. We do have other tools that are able to track that, like Vendasta tools. It's meant to ask for Google reviews and stuff like that. So like if, for instance, the client clicks on the link and for some reason doesn't leave the review right away, it follows up with another email and it's like, oh, we saw you open this email. Would you still like to leave a review? Something like that. But DSS does not do that. The only form of requesting feedback that we have currently within DSS is the feedback sequence that, allows you to ask for reviews just for your site that you can publish as testimonials. And then if they give you like a favorable thank you, which would be a 3 or higher, then it sends another email saying like, thanks for reviewing us. Would you like to review us anywhere else? And you can add links like Yelp, Google Plus, or anything like that. But that's the only, there's no way of knowing if like they clicked and didn't leave a review or if they even saw the email. There's no way of knowing that within DSS, unfortunately, as of now.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I could get that answer to Mike and Dr. Leibovitz.
Yeah.
That answers my question. And then the other question I have is specifically for Dr. Sunshine. We have some people who are currently in a campaign through another system, and we want to make sure that we still hit those people up. Is there a way to make sure people start on a specific step within a campaign?
A specific step? What do you mean?
So on this other platform they're on step 5. And we want them to, not have to go through the entire campaign again. We want them to start from step 5. Without creating a new campaign, is there a way to, create the campaign and then have them just start on step 5?
Which site are you referring to? Again?
This is Sunshine Podiatry, I believe. But we actually have to create the campaign yet, but that was one of the things that came up that we were noticing as we needed to transfer them over. So we don't have a campaign for them.
Oh, there isn't any, okay.
I'm just asking for the future reference, can we start off on step 5 instead of, just creating a separate campaign for them?
So that's tough. You can create another campaign and select the same emails starting from step 5 and following from there, using those emails and use a different tag for those people. You could do that. You could still use the same emails if that's what you're trying to get at without having, it would be a different campaign, but this all the same emails. So the campaign doesn't take a long time to create. It's the emails probably what takes the most.
Okay.
And you would have to use different tags. Yeah, because if you're tagging them with the same tag, even if you're starting on a different step, it's gonna send the entire series of emails because the tag is what triggers the emails to be sent, if that makes sense. So it would have to be a different tag, and in order for it to be a different tag, so it would probably be best to create a different campaign and start from whatever email you want to start at, like you said, step 5, and then follow from there.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense. Sorry for that. I did need
to
get those answers.
Yeah, and as we go through this, if you have any questions, you just go ahead and stop me and we'll cover it.
All
Did you
right.
have anything else?
I was just going to kind of introduce kind of Abby and Heidi and kind of give you
Okay.
our goals, at least for today. I kind of want to get them introduced to this whole dashboard. I guess kind of the way to approach this is, kind of imagine where you're, a brand new lawyer who had a website created in 2006 that was a PDF file. Pretend we just absolutely know nothing.
Okay. Yeah, because I know
and
you guys have a general idea, but I'll do that if that's what you want me to do.
Yeah, and kind of the goal is to at least get it so that Abby and Heidi can, confidently and with 100% accuracy send out at least the email broadcasts and the newsletter emails is kind of the goal.
Are you referring to the email blast?
Yeah, the email blasts and
Okay.
the newsletters, and making sure we understand the tagging system, things like that.
Okay, perfect. All right.
And we'll probably follow up with campaign setup at a different date is kind of what my thought was. Also, I saw that you kind of went over campaign setup too within that webinar that was sent to us earlier too.
Okay, good. And you probably got to see that so that you have like a background.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, so we're going to actually get started with the campaigns, how to set up a campaign. But really quickly, before I go over that, I kind of wanted to show you how to, for people who have Infusionsoft. If you have Infusionsoft, you can still use the CRM. Like, let's say you wanted to send a newsletter or an email blast, but you want to have your campaigns run in Infusionsoft, you can use both. But if you have Blue Orchid, you're only allowed to use either Blue Orchid or CRM. You can't combine. So to set up Infusionsoft, I'm not sure if you deal with a lot of clients who have Infusionsoft. We do have, but I don't know on your end. But this is how you would set it up. If you go to campaigns and email settings, you see the Infusion token, and then you will click on this, and it'll ask you to log into the Infusion account, and then it'll say something like allow DSS access. And once you click allow, you'll be able to see that Infusionsoft is talking with DSS because if you go to like a form, let's say you went to the mini contact form. Actually, that's not the best example. Let me go back. Let me go to this one. Okay, so typically or usually there would be a drop down here that would say override with Infusionsoft, and it will give you the list of forms you've created in Infusionsoft, and then you wouldn't be able to use the CRM form. It would be just Infusion. So that's just a little bit of how to set up Infusion for the clients that do have it. And then if you don't see the campaigns and emails, this drop down, of course, that means the client doesn't have CRM turned on. Okay. So the first step.
I think everybody has CRM that we deal with.
Yeah, for the most part. Okay, so the first step would be to create an offer. So I'm just going to use an offer that we've created here as an example. These are all tests, so. All right, so you want to select what kind of offer it is. This one is a book. Then title, that's going to create the URL and also the title tag. Then meta description, if you want to assign an author. And headline, that's actually going to be the title within the page. Can be a little confusing because sometimes title sounds like that would be, within the page, but that's actually the URL. And then, of course, the content editor. An image would not be what you put here for an offer. This is just a test. You would put, what the offer is about or the book. Then here you will upload the image that will go on the offer page itself. And this is the thumbnail, what you see in the overview of the page. If you want to assign any videos, typically for offers, you don't want to assign videos unless it's about the offer itself. And then let me see. Oh, sorry, I skipped this part. You want to, I already did that. Okay, so the publish date, and then display on site. That means it will be displayed on the site. If you're working on it and you're not ready to publish it yet, you want to turn this off and then come back and turn it on whenever you're ready to have it displayed on the site. Digital file, this is where you will want to upload the PDF. It will take you to your documents. Just want to upload the PDF or whatever it is. The book is most likely going to be a PDF version of it, and so that when you send when people fill out the form and they get the thank you page and thank you email, you can add a link so that they can download it, and that will pull from here. Okay, and if you want to display a center contact form, you can say yes here. And if you wanted to display a side, let's see what it looks like on the live site. So for this one, there's two forms. There's the center form, and then there's the side. But if you wanted to only display the one at the bottom and not the one on the sidebar, you would just take the module off and then see what it does. So that took off the sidebar offer and just leaves you with that one. Okay. So once you've created the offer, the first step to creating the campaign itself is going to be creating the emails for the campaign, okay? So create a new campaign email. We're going to name this. So this is going.
Make sure we understand everything fully. One of the things I was told was that step one, the first email is actually technically the thank you email from the offer page.
That's
I
right.
Make sure I had that clear.
It is. It is actually that, and I should have gone over that really quickly before we get started on this. Actually, so if we go to the offer itself, you can access the thank you page from here, or you can go to search and edit, and it's going to be that smiley icon. If you click on that, this is actually the first email that they get. So that's why I was going to title the second one, the first email that was going to be sent from the campaign to, because it's technically number 2, like you said. So here you would say, you always want to tweak this or add content, and you can add merge tags if you want to do. This will pull from their contact record. If you want to give them the option to download the link, this is what I was talking about. This automatically pulls from the digital file that you added to the offer itself. And you can say book if you wanted to tweak this a little bit. Okay, hate when that happens. Okay, and then that will give them the option to download it. And same, if you scroll down a little bit, this is going to be your email, the email they receive right after they submit the form. If you wanted to have somebody for a specific form to only that person to receive notifications as opposed to everybody else who's receiving notifications for when the form is filled out, then you would put their email here, and that overrides anybody else. Nobody else would get notifications, only the person you enter here or email. Okay?
Makes sense.
So let's go back to creating a new campaign email. All right. So like we said, this would be the second email technically. And here you actually want to put an email that they want to reply to. You do not want to put do not reply. And this is just testing. So here, this field, this is actually important because sometimes people will put an email here for some reason, and that means that this email will only be sent to that person. It overrides all the tags So it will not be sent to everybody who gets tagged. It would only be sent to that person. You only want to use this or enter an email here if it's like an internal thing, if you want to receive a notification. So if you needed to send out a letter and you were wanted to get notified, and that actually goes to your fulfillment. And if you go there, like if you were working on this with like the entire team was working on it, that would be beneficial so that you can mark when it's completed, when you've sent out like the letter or whatever it is that you're sending out, so that everybody else knows that it's been done and they don't duplicate efforts. And of course, email subject. Here you will put, so you can use the merge tag. So this will pull from their contact record. And then whatever information you want to add, like I hope you got a chance to read my book. And then once you've created this, one thing also, you can add attachments, but we always recommend using links as opposed to attachments because people sometimes have their email settings not to receive attachments, or it'll break their email. You just never know how much space they have left. So it's always just best to use a hyperlink. If you wanted to do that, you would just upload the PDF to the library and then set it to not show on the site so that nobody can access it and or nobody can view it from the site. And then you can say view more info here, and then you'll want to highlight this. Use the little link icon. And here you'll want to enter the link of the PDF file or whatever file you uploaded to the library that you want to link it to, so that when people click on it, it opens it up. Okay? So let's just use this as an example. And it automatically turns it blue so that they know it's a link. Okay? Once that's complete, you want to save it. And same thing for all the emails you're going to create. So this would be the second one, and let's just do, so we have a bunch of them created already here. So I'm going to go ahead and use any of those to create the campaign itself. So after, let's say you're done creating however many emails, like whether it's a sequence of 3, 4, once you're completed that process, we're going to create a new campaign. Create the campaign itself. Okay? So right. And sometimes it's just best to set it as inactive until you're entirely done. Okay. So this is if you wanted to add Google code to do more in-depth tracking within Google Analytics. If you click on the little tooltips, it tells you exactly what to or how to enter the code for these. Here is where you would either select a tag that you've already created or add a new tag. So just going to add the tag. So this will be the tag that connects the people, whoever gets this series of emails. So here. This is just for you so that you know. Before I do that, sorry. So I am going to select the email I created, which was car accident email 2. Here it's the schedule. So you have a few options. If it's a birthday campaign, that will pull from the birthday you've entered within their contact record, and you don't need to create a tag for that. You just select birthday, and it automatically tags them or sends them the email on their birthday if it was a birthday campaign. You could do a specific date, but for books, you have to do the delay for. So the first email that will go out is the thank you email, or the thank you email. So that's going to be on day 0. So you want to delay this for maybe 3 to 5 days. So let's just say 5 days. Okay. All right, and this was going to be the third email. Let's just use this, and we're going to delay this for 10 days. So they'll receive this email 5 days after they fill out the form, and then this one 10 days. We're going to select yes, and so let's do one more. And we'll delay this for maybe 15 days. Okay. So they will receive the first email 5 days after they fill out the form, second 10, and of course you want to do this based on your sales cycle. Once this is completed and you have all the emails that you wanted to add for that campaign, you'll hit save, and the campaign will be created. It's still inactive, so we still have to come back and turn it, switch it to active. But before we do that, okay. All right, so we'll switch it to active right now, save it. And the last step that we want to do is go to search and edit forms. And we are going to select the form that we want to be linked to that campaign. So let's just do this one since it's called car accident. All right, so here you'll want to, and this is already, there's already a tag there, but and then tag. So this means, and here you can also edit any fields for the form, and at the bottom you get a preview of what the form will look like on the site. Okay, and after you've added the tag to the offer and you hit save, that means that as soon as you've hit save, everybody who submits that form will automatically get tagged with that tag, and that will trigger the campaign, and they'll start receiving the emails based on how many days you've set them apart. Okay. And did you have any questions about campaigns, additional, or anything I didn't?
No, I think you hit everything so far. Yeah, I'm making notes too, and
yeah.
Okay, and
okay, good. And if it was like a campaign, like I said, like a birthday, you don't even have to add a tag. It automatically pulls, from their birthday that you've entered within their contact record. And if it was like a campaign, for instance, somebody once needed help setting up a campaign because they were doing like a ice cream social or something at their office, and they wanted to set like specific dates prior to the date that they were actually having the event on. So we just set them up for specific dates instead of doing like delay for 7 days. We just entered specific dates. But for like book offers, you always want to delay it for a certain amount of days. You don't want to do specific, because people will get tagged at different times. Um, okay, and there's also a few. Okay, so let's go over how to create an email blast. All right, so for this, you want to keep in mind that if you don't include or exclude any tags, then it's going to be sent out to everyone, everybody who's tagged with anything, okay? Um, Publish date, we want to leave this for last for newsletters and for email blasts, just in case that you're working on it, and you don't get a chance to finish, and you've set the publish date for tomorrow, and for some reason you didn't get to finish until next week, then it's going to be sent out without it being done. Sender email, subject, you could either use the basic email editor or the advanced email editor if you wanted to create a fancy looking email. And you'll want to use this for if you have a one-time announcement, or like the office will be closed, anything like that. That's when you will send an email blast. And very similar to the other the campaign emails, if you wanted to add an attachment, which we always suggest using links as opposed to attachments. So once you're done, with that, and let's say I wanted to send it to people who are tagged with attorneys, car accident, and I didn't want anybody here, include this. So you can hit preview and just have an idea of what it'll look like. Of course, I didn't add anything on the content editor, but after you save it, this is sometimes easy to miss. People will want to just say send email now. You always want to test it before you send it so that you know what it looks like, and that if you've included any links, they're actually working and going to the right link that you intended on. So, I'll just send it to myself. And then after I've tested it, it gives me the option to send email now. And then it says it's going to send it immediately. And if I click send, so it tells you how many people it was sent to. Okay. So that's for an email blast. So let's go for newsletters. Oh, you know what I just realized? I totally forgot to add a publish date, but regardless, if you hit send, they'll send it right away. So same thing for as far as tags go. If you do not include or exclude, I'll go to everybody. You'll want to keep in mind that if they have unsubscribed from any newsletters previously, or if their contact record was changed to inactive, even if they're tagged, they will not receive an email. An email will not be sent to those people. Okay? So let's just include publish date. You want to leave that for last. Same thing here. For newsletters, this is where you'll want to use the advanced email editor that we will not get into today, but I can show you. I can also send you the recording on how to create a newsletter from scratch. It can be a little difficult at the beginning because there's a lot of, let me see. I hope this, okay, so yeah. There's a lot of elements, and sometimes it displays differently on desktop than it does on mobile. But I can send you the recording for that if you wanted to use. But the good thing is that once you create a template, you can just duplicate it so that you can keep using it for other newsletters in the future. Okay.
Sounds
So
good.
save
I
that.
would really appreciate any videos you have on these subjects.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'll send you that, and then after you watch that, and like I said, once you create one of them, you can duplicate it so that you can just tweak it a little bit, so that you don't have to start from scratch every single time. Okay. So let's say that was created, and this is also again code, tracking code. All right. So let's go here. We're gonna save that, and you always want to test it to ensure that it is looks the way you think it does. We're gonna send it, and then you hit send newsletter now. If you haven't, of course, you want to add a publish date if you wanted it to be published at a different time. But if you wanted to send it now, you can just hit send now, and it'll send it, and it'll tell you how many people it was sent to. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And then I'll show you what the fulfillment looks like. Okay, that was the email I got. So you just kind of have an idea what it looks like. Okay. All right. So let's say that I received the email, the internal email. Remember how I told you if you enter an email, like for instance, if it was like a sales@fosterwebmarketing.com, there's multiple people who will get, notified, and if so that everybody knows when it was completed, you just want to click on complete, and it'll say who completed it and the date and time. This is more for if you have to send something, like I said, like a letter, and you wanted and a lot of people were, or multiple people were working on the project. Okay. And then, of course, the dashboard. All right. So here you can see all your email blasts that have been sent, newsletters, and campaigns. Okay, and then you can also see the recent activity within 24 hours, and then the individual emails. All right, so if you wanted to see, you will see how many were sent, opened, how many clicked, who opted out. Any bounces would be people who no longer have that email, or maybe they're out of the office and they have their out of office notice on. Okay, and then for newsletters, same thing. For campaigns, though, if you click on the campaign itself, it takes you to each individual email, so you can see how many were sent for each individual email, okay? Then we're going to go back. As far as tagging contacts go, there's a few options to tag them. You can either upload them or have them in the system already and use the import with tags spreadsheet. You have to download it from here because it has to be exactly this format. And I believe it only asks you for their email and the tag that you're tagging them. So let's see here. All right, so yeah, so all you need is their email and their tag. And like I said, sometimes people will try to tag new contacts that are not in the database yet. It's not going to work. They already have to be in the system in order for them to be tagged. You can't tag people who are not in the system. You can do it that way, or you can go to search and edit contacts, um, select, like, that's 20 people. So we're going to go to un and assign. So that's assign and unassign. It tells you it was the 20 you selected, and here's your available tags. So you could tag them or untag them all at once so that you don't have to do it individually per contact. Okay, so if I wanted to tag all these people to contact form, hit save. And of course, you can also tag them individually. If you went to their contact record and they're active, um, here you could add a tag, car accident tag. Okay, just tag them to that, even though they're already tagged to another thing. Okay, you can, and then just hit save, and don't forget to click that before. And so those are the few ways that you can tag contacts. And then if you wanted to manage your tags, here it shows you how many people are tagged with each tag, but you're not able to click on it and see who exactly is tagged with that. But if you go to search and edit contacts and you use filters, you can select, like, attorneys, for instance. Do a search and it'll show you all the people that are tagged with that tag if you wanted to see that. This is how you would do it. Okay. And one more thing that I didn't go over is the feedback sequence. Once you have it set up, let's say you had it set up already, you would go to the contact itself. You would find the feedback sequence tag. And as soon as you click on assign this tag, the email is sent right away requesting feedback. That's how you request feedback. But of course, this has to be set up prior to you requesting it. Okay. And yeah, I think we've covered everything. If you wanted to upload attachments, this is where you would do it. If you wanted to add it as an attachment to the email, you would do it here. But if you wanted to do it as a link, you would go to the article library, upload the new file, do meta description, headline, and you want to turn this off so that it doesn't display it on the site. And once you hit save, let's just go to another one that's already in there. Once you hit save, you get this link, and this is the link that you'll want to add to the hyperlink so that people can view. And just make sure you turn that off. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yep. Okay. I think we've covered everything. Is there anything else that you would like to go over? And like I said, I will be sending you the recording for the advanced email editor, and also this recording, I'll be saving it and uploading it as an internal video to the library, just in case you need to refer back to it.
In the webinar that was originally sent to me, you had covered rules. I guess what I'll ask is, do you cover everything that needs to be covered about rules within the campaigns in that webinar, or is there more that we might need to know?
So rules can be a little confusing, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see. For instance, Okay, so we'll use this as an example. Um, so let's say you would set the rules. Um, and whoever is interested in this service area gets tagged with this. Um, Based on whatever practice area they select, you tag them to, and that will trigger whatever campaign you have going on associated with that tag, if that makes sense. Um, but you can use rules for different things. Like this one is, I know it's for, they set it up for practice areas. If you wanted to like do somebody who reaches out from this state versus this state, like two different states, and you wanted them to get two different campaigns, um, you would just assign the tag. Um, yeah. What specific questions did you have about this? I think that would be best.
I was just seeing if the webinar would cover everything we needed to know about rules, or if that's something maybe we need a follow-up phone call for. Uh, just kind of, I want to kind of get a basis for your rule system so that I know we're setting it up correctly.
Do you have an example of any site that you can think of that you've set it up for?
I haven't set up any campaigns with rules myself. I
Mhm.
just want to make sure that if and when we get to rules, we're setting it up correctly.
Yeah, well, rules basically it's like based on whatever people select, what option they select, they get tagged to this campaign, or if they select this option, they get tagged to this different campaign. So it's pretty straightforward, I would say. All you really like, you need the options, you need to create the options that you want them to pick or select from, and then based on those options, you have to already have the campaigns created prior to this, of course, and then assign the tags and make sure that it's the same tag that you added for the or entered in the campaign. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, I think so. I think I can get that, figure it out from there.
Yeah. I want to think of anyone who I would have so I could show you as an example. Oh, let me see. Okay. Okay, so would be an example of um, a client who has it. Hmm. Let me see if I don't. This is just going to make it more complicated because they have so many rules. So it's probably not the best example. I wish I
All
could think
right.
of
Well,
somebody who has. Yeah, I'm like not being very helpful with that. But
no, that's all right. What I'll say here is, maybe what happens is we just follow up with another phone call when we're ready to start going over
yes,
rules.
by all means. Yeah, we will definitely walk you through it because I think it depends like on what options you want and if like based on what they select, what you want them to be tagged with, and whether it's gonna follow up with a campaign or what, or you're just tagging them for your own information so that you know and that you can keep track of those people, you know? Like it doesn't necessarily have to be followed up with a campaign, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so the options for rules, basically we would want to look into a ruling system if we wanted to either make an exception and send them to a very specific campaign, or if we
Yeah.
wanted them to be tagged for informational purposes,
Yes.
for customer relations notes.
Exactly.
That's what they'd be used for.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's basically tagging. It's gonna always be for tagging, but as far as that, like you'll decide whether you want to follow up with a campaign or whether it's just so that they're tagged and that you know for your, like you said, your own informational purposes.
Understood.
Okay. Sorry, that was a little made it more complicated, but yeah, did you want to go over anything else?
Not at the moment. If we come up with more questions, we'll make sure we either send an email out or we get another call so we can kind of just go over things.
Yes. Perfect. Yeah, we're always here, happy to help. So feel free to either email or call. You.
All right. Well, thank you for taking some time. Thanks for taking some time. I know we're kind of digging into lunch hour too a little bit.
Yeah. What time is it? But well, it's 11 for you guys, right?
No, we're on Eastern time too, so it's
actually
really? Quarter after. Yeah, we're right on that edge, actually.
Really? Because I was thinking that's why I sent you that email and I said Eastern time because I was like, oh, I think it's 10 for them, so I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. But no, we're the same.
It's Indiana is the one that's split actually, and all of Michigan. I believe it's all of Lower Peninsula is on Eastern, and then I'd have to double check on the Upper Peninsula. There might be a separation there. I'd have to double check it.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, and then you have to pay attention to Phoenix. They don't have daylight savings, so you have to check what time of the year it is for that. For Arizona. No.
Yeah.
Our funny time systems, right?
Yeah. It is. And sometimes I forget and I'm just like, oh, same time, but it's like, no.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, thanks for taking some time to just run us through this. I want to make sure we're 100% accurate and we're giving everybody the best deal. So that was the main goal, and I think you really helped us out here just by running through it and what's capable and what's not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad that it was helpful, and we're always happy to help, like I said. So feel free, to reach out. And yeah, it was nice talking to you.
Yeah, nice talking to you too. Have a great rest of the day.
Yeah, thank you, Joanna.
Yep. All right. Enjoy your day.
Right. You
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.